Hello and welcome to the ScatterVolt channel, and today we're going to go over what are the best and worst graphics cards to get for the month of July, which don't worry, this is a good month to buy a graphics card because personally, I like to thank Amazon Prime Day for forcing every other online e-tailer to produce their own sales to compete with Amazon, which I'm not complaining. Newegg is running Fantastic, Best Buy is running whatever best thing they're doing to the best of their ability. And I assume there's a bunch of other e-tailers from across the globe that are also running their own sales. And I'm not joking here, there actually are some really good graphics card deals. Probably the best I've seen since last December, since Cyber Monday and Black Friday. I don't want to spoil too much, but even the RTX 4060 is on a discount. And when that happens, you know you're in for a lot of GPU deals. So traditionally, I start things off with the cheapest price category and work our way up to the most expensive, covering the best and worst cards to consider. But I want to start off with the price category that has seen the most movement, and that is from $200 to $300. And before we get started, I just want to say that all of the graphics cards I'll be discussing throughout this video and the deals that they're associated with will be all linked in the description below across Amazon. That works for all regions of the world because it's a single link that works in different parts of the globe, including US, and then a Newegg link if you want to check that out. But you can also search up these deals yourself and see if they're compatible in your own region. So I think for the longest time, from $200 to $300, we could all agree that the 6650 XT was probably the best deal of its kind in its price category, because yes, it had 8 gigabytes of VRAM, but it costed about $220 to $230, which right now it's retailing for about $220. And this was all you really needed for 1080p gaming. It's the ideal 1080p gaming graphics card to get without overspending. And I used to mock another graphics card that had similar performance, but costed more and only offered additional features. So yes, the 6650 XT is still a strong buy right now this month, but there is an even stronger buy. Because ladies and gentlemen, I think we successfully bullied AMD into dropping the mother of discounts on the RX 7600. You wanna know how much we can get this for now? You can snag this for $230 on Newegg. I don't know how good it is on Amazon, but I think it will be around the same price. $230 for an RX 7600 is actually crack. That's actually a cracked deal right now for a graphics card. Yes, it offers about the same performance of a 6650 XT, but it's only gonna cost you about $10 more, and in turn you get better ray tracing performance, the AV1 codec, and slightly better overall performance, and a bit of power efficiency and power savings as well. So it's a slightly more well-rounded card for only about $10 more. So for $230, this is the 1080p gaming graphics card to get. Don't forget, this can nearly go toe-to-toe with an RTX 4060, but it costs way less. So this right now is the hot graphics card to get below $200. But let's talk about the other hot graphics card. Well, I'd say it's mild, it's not hot. Like I teased at the very start of the video, yes, the RTX 4060 did go on a discount, and when it happens, you know there's GPU deals that are gonna be very much throughout the rest of this video. You can pick this up for about $280 right now off of Newegg. That is, for an RTX 4060, actually really good to see. Just the only problem with it is that this, for about $50 less, is objectively the better buy. Because for an extra $50, this really at this point only offers better frame generation, because AMD does have their own implementation of FSR 3.1 that is closing the gap to Nvidia's own DLSS 3.0 frame generation technology. It's not quite there yet, but it's definitely getting closer. But for a $50 gap, that can afford you a better PC case, it can afford you a better power supply, it can afford you a lot of things for a budget PC build. So as much as I'd want to parade around the 4060 for finally going on a discount, unfortunately the RX 7600, if you remove frame generation from the mix, offers just about the same raw performance for, like I said, about $50 less. But now you may be asking one more thing. You may be like, well wait, there's another graphics card for like this price range that you would usually pull up. but it's actually not. The A750 is no longer in this price category. It's gone down a price category, which is a good thing. Which covers our next category for this video, $200 to $100, and the A750 has received also a very good discount. You can grab this for about $180 right now, and that is a good price for the A750. Anytime this graphics card goes on a sale, it is the graphics card to get for below $200. There's about a $20 difference between this and the A580, and if there's only $20 separated between these two GPUs, you want to go with the A750, although it features the same amount of VRAM, the same memory bus width, but it doesn't feature the same performance. The A750 is a bit faster, and I think it's more or less a good graphics card to buy as long as you can deal with the increased power draw and increased temperatures. And to that degree, I also need to give a shout out to the RX 6600 because it's no longer $200. You can pick these up comfortably for also about $180 on Newegg. But with both of these graphics cards at the same price, all I gotta say is due to driver updates on the A750, it is faster than the RX 6600 by a good amount. And even the A580 that I just pulled up is slightly faster than an RX 6600 on average. And really the only thing the 6600 offers over both of those graphics cards is better power efficiency. So if that is a big contention point for you and you want a graphics card that could be more power efficient for your power bill, the 6600 is going for a good price right now. But if you can put up with that increased power draw or just simply undervolt either of the two ARC cards, in this case being the A750, it is my preferred graphics card of choice for below $200 brand new. And I guess let's go ahead and mention this. What's the best graphics card for below $100? Well, it doesn't exist in the marketplace. What you're gonna wanna do is type in facebookmarketplace.com, load up your region, your city, and your whatever. Type in graphics card, set your price point to $100. Or whatever your currency is. And well, bam. Any of those used graphics cards are going to be infinitesimally better values than any brand new graphics card you can get for about $100, which right now I think would have to be the Intel ARC A380. This guy right here, and although it has 6 gigabytes of VRAM, I bet you could pick up like an RX 5700 or a 5500 XT 8 gigabyte with more VRAM and faster performance. So sorry, yeah, you wanna go used for below $100. Now for below $400 to $300, we've actually got some pretty good options here, except for one. Let's start with the except for one, and you already know what it is. It's the classic RTX 4060 Ti, 8 gigabytes. I checked and like it did go on a slight price discount, but it's still a terrible graphics card for a lot of reasons that I've mentioned in previous GPUs of the month videos. It comes with 8 gigabytes of VRAM with a really wimpy 128-bit memory bus. Over $300, that's pretty inexcusable. It loses to the RTX 3060 Ti it was meant to replace in some games. And if you use frame generation, that's actually gonna use up additional VRAM. And really, it's just a not capable graphics card. It's definitely gonna become e-waste in a few years. So I don't wanna waste any more time because the 7700 XT has gone on a pretty nice discount. You can grab this for $370, features 12 gigabytes of VRAM. It is about as fast as an RX 6800, but the RX 6800, surprisingly, is only staying at $360 right now on Amazon. But on Newegg, you can pick up a 7700 XT for only $10 more, and that might be worth considering actually. Although it does come with less VRAM, it does have slightly better ray tracing performance, and I think it has better power efficiency as well. It's also a newer card that might be nice to have. So for about $370, this would probably have to be the graphics card to pick up, unless the 6800 can go on an even better discount below $360 on Amazon, because on Newegg, you're not gonna find that great of RX 6800 deals. But there's another graphics card I wanna give a shout out to because it finally received, I'm saying finally a lot, but this actually did receive a much needed discount. The RX 7600 XT can be had for $300 on the dot, and that is how much this graphics card should have costed in the first place when it first launched earlier this year. $300 for this graphics card finally makes a lot more sense, even in relative pricing to the RTX 4060 that is on a discount right now. Grabbing one of these for $300 on the dot, I think is a really well-rounded, 1440p entry-level graphics card because you do have 16 gigabytes of RAM to play around with, which is a good thing. And I did see there were even some games where the extra VRAM and this graphics card did help it edge a little bit over the 6700 XT, even though that graphics card has 12 gigabytes of VRAM. So seeing this for a cheaper price finally makes me feel better in being more comfortable in recommending it. Although I'm not still particularly happy about its small 128-bit memory bus, but at $300, I don't think you complain with having a graphics card that has that amount of VRAM. I know you could say the same argument for the A770, but the A770 just straight up loses because it's an aging graphics card. Now there's an elephant in the room. You guys might be wondering, where's the 6700 XT? Where's the 6750 XT? Well, unfortunately, I've been checking Newegg, and if you type in either result, the 6700 XT and the 6750 XT, all you'll find are just used and refurbished deals for the 6700 XT and some kind of marked up prices for the 6750 XT at about $340. That's not nearly as good as the $300 or $310 we saw like 2 months ago. So finally, I think these things are going away. It's happening. The death of the 6700 XT and the 6750 XT are finally upon us. If Newegg is no longer carrying them, then that means Amazon will soon follow. Press F to pay respects. That's all I gotta say. Now I'm gonna combine the next two price categories, $400 to $600, because this really is the price category you wanna look at for getting the most bang for your buck out of a graphics card from these sales. Other than that RX 7600 deal, that for $230 is probably gonna be the best deal out of this video, period. But we've got some heavy hitters in this price category, one of them not being the RTX 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte. I don't think it's even getting that good of a deal right now or a discount. Let me double check just to be sure. I mean, for $430 at the lowest, that's okay. But you know, the 7700 XT and 6800 are faster GPUs with their discounts, $50 to $60 less. So yeah, it's 16 gigabytes of VRAM, but it's got that small 128-bit memory bus, which wasn't a problem for the 7600 XT that we just covered earlier that has the same memory, because that GPU costed $300. This one costs $430. And I'd rather prefer a real 16 gigabytes of VRAM in this price category than the smaller, cheaper kind that's on here. So yeah, 4060 Ti, not it really. If you do AI, it's a killer card for the price, but we're gamers here, so it's gonna go away. So what is under $500 that is definitely worth covering? Well, it is none other than the RX 7800 XT. You can grab this right now for $480 US. Incredible graphics card. It's again a really good blend of hardware, features, and performance, with most of the weight on this graphics card really leaning towards the hardware end, I say. The 16 gigabytes of VRAM that you get with the core of this GPU and the power efficiency over the previous generation RX 6800 XT it was meant to replace while beating it in performance just made this a really good all-around graphics card when it first launched for MSRP, and you can get it for below MSRP at $480. This already was a great deal for MSRP, so being on a discount for me just makes it an instant recommendation. If you want, like I said, a bulletproof 1440p graphics card, this is the one to get. And I will have to just again briefly mention this. You can get a 4070 right now on a discount for about $530, but I'm gonna say no, because you know, the card that was meant to replace this one also is going on a discount, and I'm not too hot about the original 4070. It actually did okay at launch, but I'm just gonna say it, the 4070 Super is that much better of a graphics card. So I'd pass up on the 4070 in this price range, even if it's on a discount, because the 4070 Super is just that much better for about $590 to $580. The only con to this graphics card would have to be the fact that it comes with 12 gigabytes of VRAM. That is the only con. Otherwise, it addressed the performance deficit that the original 4070 had to other graphics cards in its price range. It has probably the best ray tracing performance per dollar out of the entirety of Nvidia's RTX 4000 lineup. It also features pretty good hardware for the money. So really all you gotta do is just watch out for that 12 gigabyte VRAM buffer in a few years. And for its below $600 price tag, it's a firm recommendation. But I think right now, although I said the 7800 XT was probably the better buy, the 7900 GRE has finally responded, and you can grab this for as low as I think $525. That's big. That's really big for a graphics card of this speed. This, in terms of raw performance, slightly outperforms the 4070 Super. Yes, it's not as good as ray tracing, but other than that, this probably offers even slightly better hardware for the money than the 7800 XT, if I'm being honest, because all this is just a cut down RX 7900 XT. So whenever this goes on discount, it's just as big of a deal, if not a bigger deal, than the 7800 XT, because again, this is kind of a cut down 7900 XT. You can make a lot of juice out of this graphics card with the right overclock or undervolt settings. So for below $600 right now with these deals, the 7900 GRE would probably have to be my ultimate pick, with the 7800 XT and 4070 Super tied for second, and everything else not even coming third. Just don't even consider it. Now from over $600 to, I'll just say we'll close out the video to about $1,000. Probably the standout graphics card right now with the best deal is actually gonna have to be the RTX 4070 Ti Super. This is running for $30 below MSRP right now on Newegg for about $770. That is the lowest I have ever seen it. And this just only makes it, I think, I think this makes it a better buy over the 7900 XT, which I would previously really push in this price range, just pretty much whenever the 4070 Ti Super goes on a discount, but the 7900 XT doesn't go for below $700. The 4070 Ti Super has to be, I think, the better buy, because although it does slightly lose out to the 7900 XT in terms of raw performance, and it does come with 4 GB less of VRAM, it does come with superior ray tracing performance over the 7900 XT, which I think kind of justifies its $70 price premium, because if you did want to do any premium ray tracing experiences, you're gonna get a much better experience out of this card than a 7900 XT, which, you know, for an $800 graphics card, you'd expect it to do that. And the difference between, say, 12 GB and 16 GB of VRAM isn't as drastic as 16 versus 20 on the 7900 XT. So yes, it does come with less VRAM, but 16 GB is still very good and will last you for many years to come. So if we're on a discount right now, I think it is the Nvidia graphics card to buy. I really think so. This is probably the best Nvidia graphics card deal out of this entire video. Maybe because it isn't selling super well, which I'm surprised. It should be selling better. Likewise though, I just gotta go ahead and give a brief mention to the 7900 XT. I was hoping that this graphics card could break that $700 price barrier, and there's only one model on here on Newegg that does. Maybe Amazon will show that up later this week, but I was hoping it'd be more like $670. That would make this just AMD would have to be losing money at that point, because they'd be dropping the price of the 7900 XT from its $900 MSRP to below $700, which would be crazy, but I haven't seen that quite yet. So again, the margins between, say, this and a 4070 Ti Super are pretty fine, but this is not getting the crazy good discount I was hoping it'd get. So that's where I think the 4070 Ti Super for within $70 of this is the better buy, for all the reasons I previously listed. But if you don't care about ray tracing, this does give you better raw performance and more VRAM if you just want all the frames per second. Which leaves us with two, because I'm not really gonna cover the 4090 because it never goes on sale. Because you can get away with selling it for like, you know, 2,000 bucks. Yeah, 1,700, I'm not even gonna cover the 4090. If you're a gamer, let me tell you about this one first. 4080 Super. Thanks to the sale, you can find some higher end models of the 4080 Super for MSRP now, which is pretty nice. You can get a tough edition Nvidia 4080 Super for about $1,000, which previously it would have costed above $1,000. So I wouldn't say any of the 4080 Super deals I've seen so far go below $1,000, but you can get some nicer model cards for at MSRP, which is really the point I want to get at. And that's not bad for a 4080 Super. I wish I had a little bit more VRAM. I really do, because 16 gigabytes of VRAM for $1,000 that's okay, but it definitely could have been better. But at least its raw performance and especially its ray tracing do make up for it, especially in comparison to the 7900 XTX. And I think even then, like with the looming release of the 5090 and the 5080 coming out next year sometime, I don't think you want to drop too much money on a 4090. So that's where the 4080 Super does make a little bit more sense if you wanted plenty of oomph in a graphics card without really oofing your bank account. But I think the graphics card that has slightly better deals right now would have to be the 7900 XTX, because there's now plenty of models, I think, for we're at $900. I haven't seen any that go below 900, but I wouldn't be surprised later this week if we do. And this again just gives you the most raw horsepower for below $1,000 if you don't care about ray tracing. If you want pure frame rate with the lowest frame times, you got that in this graphics card. It also comes with substantially more VRAM than the 4080 Super. So again, it's just a really powerful graphics card, so powerful that you can still run a lot of ray tracing on it. Obviously not good as Nvidia, but it's still so fast that you're gonna be able to have very playable frame rates at 4K with ray tracing enabled with a basic upscaler like FSR. So also the 7800 XTX is another great deal in this price category. I think it's a slightly better deal than the 4080 Super, but both cards are for a pretty good price. But if I had to pick one out of the four that I just covered, it probably would have to be the 4070 Ti Super. That's a very well-rounded card on a decent discount that isn't ludicrously expensive. And there you have it. That's the best GPUs of the month when using these deals from Amazon and Newegg. Once again, they're all linked in the description below if you want to check any of them out. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. And if you like my kind of commentary and style of delivering videos, then definitely do subscribe to the ScatterVolt channel because I won't change. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching. And this is the ScatterVolt channel, signing out.